You know when you're driving on the freeway and everyone's going like 80, 85? We all know what the speed limit is, right? 65. But no one really goes 65. It's kind of hard to do that, right? So everyone's going 80, 85. And then what happens when the CHP comes onto the on-ramp and gets on the freeway? What does everyone do? Right? Everyone's driving exactly 65 or even 60. The whole freeway slows down. Right? You guys are going so slow. I feel like slow motion. Right? And then when that CHP officer pulls off the freeway, what does everyone do? And everyone's turning back and we're making sure he's going to get back on. Because sometimes they trick you, huh? He gets off and he gets back on and then everyone gets caught. Right? Like, oh, sorry, I didn't know. We were going downhill. Or the famous thing to say to a police officer is what? I was driving with the flow of the traffic. Right? And I know that never works. But anytime you always say it, right? So, if you had a CHP camera in your car at your speedometer, will you ever go faster? No. Or else they will they have a button to stop your car or send you a ticket straight to your email. You will never go over 65, right? But we all know that the police are kind of lenient. You go 70, they're okay. 75 is kind of borderline, right? So the thing is that people do it, even when they're without police there, right? Because there's no taqwa, not taqwa of Allah, but taqwa of police, yani. Taqwa of the police, right? They have that, if you will. So the same thing here is worshiping Allah as if you see Him. It's kind of like the CHP officer in the rearview mirror. That I'm not going to say something. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to yell at this person. I'm not going to forget to wake up for Fajr because as if Allah's there. Okay? Right? The scholars have named this type of worship targhib, from the word raghaba. Ra, ghain, ba. Raghaba or raghba in Arabic means desire, eagerness. I have a raghba to learn. I have desire to learn. Right? I have a raghba to go to the fundraiser tonight. I really want to go. Right? They have a speaker, they have a good cause they're doing it, if you will. Right? I have a raghba to go to the kitchen and eat. Right? So people, it's called raghba. This is called targhib. That you what? You worship Allah as if you see Him, meaning that you want to worship Allah. Right? Because as Jannah is in front of you. I want to obey you, Allah. Right? So you're worshiping out of what? Desire. And then the Prophet said, so this is part of ihsan. But he said ihsan has a second part. Right? And that second part is what? Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to put a slide. The second part, the Prophet said that you should worship Allah as though you can see Him, even know that you cannot see Him, but know that He what? Sees you. So what is the Prophet trying to say? Now then we call this one tarhib. This is ra, ha, ba. Ra, ha, the little at sign ha, the one, not the ha, but the one that looks like an at sign, right? Like at gmail.com type thing, right? Ha, ra, ha, and then ba. Call this tarhib. Tarhib means out of fearing, right? Or kind of being scared. So you worship Allah and know that He sees you. So what is the Prophet saying? That don't slip, because even though you don't think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't see Him in front of you, but know He sees you. So you better get up at Fajr. You better roll out the bed, right? So sometimes you get out of Fajr, I don't think anyone really does this too much, because you want to pray Fajr. I want to go to the masjid. I can't wait. I've been thinking about it the whole night, right? That's 2% of people in the world. But other people do the other type of ihsan, where knowing that Allah sees you, oh God, I can't miss Fajr. Let me get these sheets off. Oh gosh, I have to make wudu. I got 15 minutes left, right? So, but that's part of ihsan though. But that's the second part. Now, which part is more higher in terms of the way you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The targhib or tarhib? The first one. Right. But the first one's hard to do. I want to come to the hadith class. Allah wants you to learn, right? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. I read in the name of your Lord. I want to learn about what the Prophet's going to say today. It's going to be an awesome class. It's not okay, I'm just going to go because I should go. It's a good thing to do. If I don't, I'm going to stay home and watch TV most likely, or do something else, or sleep on the bed more, right? So the targhib is always playing that. You're always between these two things, if you will. So scholars they've wrote books called Tarhib and Targhib, where they give you Hadith and Targhib and Hadith and Tarhib, and see how you could do that. So one is of the earning and yearning of earning and yearning. Earning and yearning. No. yearning and eagerness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then also of the fearing of the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? I don't want to do this, so I fear that I won't get punished, if you will. But all that is part of ihsan. Good? Next thing he talks about, he says, inform me about the hours. Okay. How is the hour and the last day different? Or are they the same? Suraj al-Hajj. Some. You guys could team up together. And then you guys team up together. You guys are brothers. Are they the same? Are they different?
What was the question?
Oh.
Okay, so as-sa'a, the hour, and yawm al-akhir, the last day. We went over that already, right? Are they the same thing, or are they different?
Different.
If they are different, akhbirni, how are they different? Explain to me.
The hour refers to the period leading up to the Day of Judgment.
Okay, so it's still in this world.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Is hour the blowing of the horn? Is that
Okay,
So,
which is in this world or the next world? Okay, good. Anyone else want to challenge? Does someone knows it?
So sa'a means time from my opinion it's the day and day of judgment of Yawm al-Akhirah.
Okay, good. So as-sa'a means the ending of times. So it's still in this world. So the people are still alive. The blowing of the horn is part of that. That's one of the last signs. The horn blows, no one will be there. So don't worry, no one won't be there to hear it after that. Right? So the sa'a is, talking about, don't write this definition down, this is wrong. Resurrection of the people from the grave, that's wrong. Just don't worry about that. So why is it called, I defined it for you, right? It's the signs, or it's the ending of the time. Ending of this world. What's the events of the ending of this world. Why is it called sa'a for? In Arabic, the word sa'a, sin, alif, ayn, ta marbuta, means what? Usually it's mean like hour, like literally hour, 24 hours, 60 minutes, right? But does it mean that the end of the world is going to be 60 minutes long? Why do they call it a sa'a?
Perhaps in relation to the day, it's a smaller portion.
Smaller portion, anyone else? You have to know a little bit of Arabic language to answer this question. So the way the Arabs will use the word sa'a, like for example, I said, أنا جئت مع عمر في نفس الساعة, that I came with Omar at the same time, at the same sa'a, the same moment. So that's why. So that means that you have to believe in the moment, basically the start of the end of the time. That's what it means. And why is it called sa'a? Because an hour, because that's like so important. It's like the hour. More than any other hour we have in this world, it's like the hour where a lot of things will happen.
Isn't it exactly an hour, or is it like a...
No. Like I said, it's not the literal, but we're going metaphorical usage. Like I tell you guys, I want to meet you guys at the center. Am I talking about the Staples Center? That'd be kind of cool if we go to Staples Center, right? But we're not talking about the Staples Center. It's a long drive also. We're talking about the ICNA Center. How do you guys know about that? I'm talking about the ICNA Center. Because that's what's understood, that's what's famous, right? In our language, right? Amongst us, right? So the Prophet called this the sa'a because that's like the famous time, like it's well known, right? So therefore you don't have to define it any other way, if you will. So what do we have to believe in the sa'a? That the hour's resurrection of the people from the graves. Take that out, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Surah Hajj, verse number 1, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّ زَلْزَلَةَ السَّاعَةِ شَيْءٌ عَظِيمٌ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even calls it sa'a here, where he said, "Oh man, fear your Lord, the conversion, the shaking, the earthquake of the final hour is a terrible thing." Alright, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it a sa'a, right? And then the Prophet said, that I don't know when it's going to start, nor that you know, right? The one being asked knows no more than the one who's asking. So then Jibreel alayhi salam said, well, at least tell me some of its signs. So the first sign he says that, I put it here, the Prophet said about the one that's questioned, no more than the one that's asking. And this comes from a verse of the Quran also, Surah Ahzab, which is chapter number 33 in the Quran. Verse number 63, where Allah subhanahu says, يَسْأَلُ النَّاسُ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ قُلْ إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّكَ السَّاعَةَ تَكُونُ قَرِيبًا. Where Allah says, the people ask you, when is the hour going to begin? Say the knowledge of it is only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what makes you know and perceive it? That perhaps the hour is close by. It's close, qareeb. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again uses the word sa'a again and says that the Prophet is not going to know it. Right? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Right? So he says, well, inform me about its signs. So in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word ashrat to mean signs. So the word here, this is in Surah Muhammad, where Allah says, فَهَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا السَّاعَةِ أَن تَأْتِيهُمْ بَغْتَةً فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا وَأَنَّ لَهُمْ إِذَا جَاءَتْهُمْ ذِكْرَاهُم. And do they wait except that the hour, the sa'a, should come upon them unexpectedly? You think it's going to just happen, boom. Allah says it's not going to happen like that. But already there's come signs, indications. Ashrat. Allah uses the word ashrat. Right? Then what good to them is it when it comes? Will they not remember? Right? What will be good if they come if they don't act on, doing good things, if you will. Right? So there's signs that Allah already said that came already. So the scholars have said, when he said informing about the signs, the scholars have broken it down into three things. Number one, signs that have passed and ended already. Number two, signs that don't go away but they keep on renewing, if you will. And then number three, major signs that occur close to the end of time. So they don't renew. Once it happens, it happens. Okay. You could use number two and you could put in parentheses minor signs. So, I know some of you guys are smart people. So, what are some minor signs that happen? Or what are some signs that already happen?
The creation of tall buildings.
The creation of tall buildings.
That's
Okay. So that might be number two. Because people can still build, right?
Is there like some river dried up?
A river dried up. I don't know. I'm not too sure which one I'm referring to. What's another one? What's a big one? The Prophet said, I'm a sign of the hereafter. That I will come at the end times. Some of you guys say, hold on, it's been like 1,400 years now. Right? Right? So how is he a sign of the end of times when he came 1,400 years ago? Right? Well, if you put it into perspective how long the earth has been, let's say it's been created, let's say 1 billion years already, then guess what? 1,400 years is nothing. It's like 1%. Right? Right? So obviously it's close, if you will. Right? So that already happened already. So what are some signs that don't go away? What are some minor signs that you guys know of? So we have tall buildings, okay?
So the first one we say the Prophet already came.
Yeah.
That's a sign.
Right. And he said, my coming is a sign of the end of times. Like this is the last prophet.
Mistreatment of your parents.
Mistreatment of the parents, good.
There's homosexuality being widespread in men or women.
Homosexuality being widespread. People say that people would do or commit intercourse in public, which maybe is there, maybe it's not there. They have no shame. I don't know about homosexuality in general, but maybe it might fall into the same category. Maybe there's a hadith. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know all the hadith. What's something else? Decline of knowledge. The one thing inside of time that scholars will be taken away. We all know that barely this scholars you could ask questions to nowadays, right?
The leaders of the people will be the most ignorant of them.
Right. The worst of you will be your leaders, and the best of you will be the poor that no one listens to. Which is recent elections have shown this even more than anything, right? Drinking of alcohol will be widespread. That's been going on for a while, right? That continues, right? Competition of tall buildings, obviously, that goes. Right? So the Prophet mentions that. Let's go over some major signs. What's the major signs you guys know? The Dajjal, the Antichrist will come.
The sun rising from the west.
The sun rising from the west. That's like the last sign. It's mentioned that once that sign comes, like you can't try to be a believer after that. It's over.
The moon goes into the sun.
The moon crashing the sun is what happens at the end of the world when the world gets destroyed. That's already bad news bears after that. It's already bad. Like, we're already over. Ya'juj, Gog and Magog, Ya'juj and Ma'juj will come out and drink up all the resources of the earth. Some people said that's already happening. Some people said it hasn't happened yet.
Animal would be.
Sorry?
The animal would be coming and talking.
The animal, the beast.
The beast.
Right. This is mentioned in Surah Naml, chapter number 27, verse number 82. Where Allah also says, and the word of torment will fulfill against them, and we shall bring out of the earth a beast, a humongous animal, which will speak, which is pretty crazy. Like Wolverine. You guys like Wolverine? Right? Will speak to mankind, believe not with certainty in our ayat, that this will surely come. And this hadith that this animal was already found on an island and spoke to one of the Sahaba. There's a long hadith on this. It's very weird. But there's a long hadith that the Sahaba, it's what's his name? Tamimi. What's his first name? I forgot. It's in Sahih Muslim, I believe. And I already spoke to the animal already.
Wait, so it exists?
He exists already, but he's on his island locked up. He hasn't been released yet to come out.
Locked up in this
How?
How is it locked up? Like,
Oh, I don't know. It could be on some island by itself or some, I don't know, it could be shackled. I forgot what the wording of the hadith is. Should have brought it. I remember that hadith. It's in, if you guys read the Hereafter set by Imam al-Halaki. It's kind of controversial character to an extent now, but anyhow, I think you should still benefit from him.
I have a question on the second one.
Okay.
Because I know we said the first one, the second one we're saying all these, the third one we're saying all these signs. But the second one says signs that don't go away but keep renewing.
Right.
What is that like?
So alcohol keeps on renewing, right? There'll be like intercourse and like in public and so forth.
Killing as well.
Killing will be prevalent. So back when the Mongols came, people thought like that's a sign of the end of the world. 500,000 people getting killed in Iraq. Like, but no, like look how much killing is still going on. World War I, World War II, right? Even today, what's going on, right? So they keep on rejuvenating and also keep on getting bigger. Like tall buildings is one of them, which is going to come up, right? So when people like Pharaoh was before Islam, sorry. But when people built certain buildings at that time, big castles, right? That they thought that this was it. When the Sears Tower in Chicago was built, they saw, wow, this is it. And then we had the Trade Center, and then we had the Empire State Building, and then we have Dubai. That came in as
Jeddah, making like Jeddah Tower.
yeah, and yeah, they're building this tower in Jeddah now. That's going to be taller than the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, right? And then Malaysia has one too, right? We're going to get to all that type of stuff. So these kind of things are going on. So the major signs, a couple things right there, the appearance of the Mahdi. The Mahdi, it will be like the main Muslim leader of the army. His name will be Muhammad Abdullah. He has the same name of the Prophet ﷺ. He will come from Medina, right? And he will lead the Muslims, and they'll end up defeating the Jews in Palestine. In 1970 something, there was a person named Muhammad. His last name was Abdullah. He lived in Medina. And people thought this was a Mahdi. And I know you guys heard about this story. And he went to the Kaaba, and people supported him. And they, after the Salah, they got up and said, this is Muhammad ibn Abdullah from Medina. He is the Mahdi. Everyone give him a pledge of oath. And they locked the doors of the Kaaba, and they laid siege at the Kaaba for about a month. And there was a war that broke out inside the Kaaba because the Saudi government's like, what the heck is happening? And they couldn't get him out. And this guy's like, and they made him think he was the Mahdi. He wasn't the Mahdi, obviously, because he's like, I'm just a normal guy, right? Well, you know? And they thought that was going to happen. People try to push the agenda. It's like the radical Christians, where they try to start the day of judgment. So even though the Christians are supporting the Zionist Jews because they want Jesus to come back so much, right? You can't start the day. Allah will make it happen. Don't worry, right? So anyhow, so the Mahdi, what's going to come, the Dajjal, the parents of Isa alayhi salam, that we know that Isa alayhi salam will come down on a white minaret in Damascus. And I said this war that I like to bring up, that the war that's happening in Syria, Allahu Alam, could be a good sign of that. Because do you think Jesus is going to come down when Bashar al-Assad is president? He's not going to come down and find this guy ruling. He's going to come down with like good leaders, right? And so there's some filtering that's going on in Syria right now, right? And it's very interesting that there's a masjid called the Masjid Umawi. in Damascus, and they built a minaret. And then the Christians took over that masjid a long time ago, and they painted the minaret what color? White. And then the Muslims took it over again. And the hadith said that he'll come down in a white minaret. So, the Christian, remember I told you, bad things happen for reasons. Someone say, oh gosh, the Christians are here now. Oh my God, this was where Jesus was going to come back, right? Like, no, you never know, right? So things happen, right?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Like in the major sign, like you were saying, the one of the signs is a tall building, right?
That's number 2, minor sign.
Minor sign. But if we go to, I know here stairs towers and this is okay, but in Dubai and then Riyadh and then Makkah, they are building a tall building.
Right. Tower.
So why they don't know, or there is a sign?
They probably know, right? But look what
I mean, it doesn't necessarily say that it's a bad thing. It's just saying that that's.
yeah, not saying necessarily a bad thing, saying that it's just a sign.
Yeah.
Because if you look here, this is jump, right? Where the Prophet says that you will see the barefooted ones, the naked, the destitute, and the herdsmen of sheep
Yeah.
raising lofty people.
Yeah.
Who will understand to be that at that time? Were the Arabs,
Yes.
right? The Bedouins, right? They were with their sheep, didn't have much clothing, they're rugged people with their shoes, right? And so we all know, look at them now, right? They're one of the richest people. They didn't know they had oil sitting underneath them. It got them a lot of money. It's actually, that's declining now, but anyhow, right? So that's all like a sign. So sometimes signs are negative, yeah, but signs are also, most of them kind of have a negative connotation to it. I know there's one that'll be a fire in the east and the west, a big fire, but I'm not too sure about the greenery.
Yeah, right there, it won't come until the Arabian Peninsula turns green once again.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe the weather would change or something.
There's the 3 earthquakes.
3 earthquakes, right? 3 shaking, that's another sign. There'll be 3 major shaking, which some people say that a couple of them already happened already. It's kind of hard to determine that, right? Because there's been multiple big earthquakes in the world, right? So anyhow, let's go back a little bit. So these are the signs, etc. I think we're good on this one now. Then the Prophet said that one of the signs that you will see the slave girl give birth to her mistress. This is like a really confusing sign, right? So mistress means siyatiha, or siyataha, means that her owner. So what did the scholars talked about? They said that how do you have slave girls in the first place? That it means that Islam will expand. Through wars, what happened? The men usually go and fight, and who's left? Usually the women and children. And usually the women and children are taken in as slaves, and that's how. And slaves is a very problematic word, really. But we'll say servants, right? In Islam, they're more like servants. They get clothing, they get food, they have rights. You can't beat them, you can't do stuff like this, right? So this means that Islam will expand rapidly, which we all know that happened. Some people said that it means that the conditions will change really quickly. Because this lady slave girl gives birth to a son, well, that son will grow up now to be the leader now. That's going to be like, how is that going to happen? That's going to take a long time for that person, because he's a slave, right? He's born in a lower class, if you will. There's not a class system in Islam. But for him to raise up, it's going to take a while. So anyhow, it's saying that times will change. Some people said there'll be a lot of corruption in business practices, where that in Islam you can't buy your own mother, right? You can't separate the kids and the mother too. That's another issue. That the son will end up buying the mother because they don't know their lineage anymore, which is very true. You see, today when people get married, the wife changes their last name, and so now she lost her own lineage, right? Which is totally messed up. Now they don't even know where they're from anymore. Well, Americans definitely know, but in Islam, that's why the woman doesn't have to change her last name. They should keep it to go back where she's from. Who was her dad, who was her dad, who was her dad, her dad, etc., if you will. So that's what's understood to be with this thing.
Someone I heard as well said that it had to do with the way that the children treat their parents.
That's what some people find it.
Children who are super entitled, parents just kind of give them everything. They don't really punish them and discipline them too much anymore. They kind of just give it to them.
Right. One would say the children will be just obedient to the parents. Another one, I guess that's another take you could do, if you will. Which I really didn't see too much in Imam Nawawi's commentary or some other commentaries, but yeah, that's a possible meaning also.
Do you agree maybe some talk of people discussing about this Qiyamah, end of the world? some people saying could be a locality, something like when a Prophet Lut,
Yeah.
right, and Noah,
Yeah.
right. So that is all actually this end of word for them.
Okay, are the signs going to be universal or local? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so because if you're looking at their culture at the time, so that is a sign of that end of the word for them.
Right, right.
So again, just because if we're talking about the big thing, like what you said, Christian, they have their apocalyptic mindset.
Right.
The same thing with the Muslim too. We also have our own apocalyptic sign.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to push that.
Yeah, but no, see, we shouldn't push it though. Like,
Yes.
the Christians, like extreme Christians, are trying to do it. Like, they believe in Gog and Magog.
Yes.
But they believe, you know who they believe Gog and Magog is?
Right.
Us, Muslims. Because the Muslims have got all these resources and they're taking up all the oil and resources.
Yeah.
So a lot of them say that the Gog and Magog are the Muslims because there's so many of us now. Right? And so it's funny. We're like, no, we don't really say that's them. We believe that. We don't really believe it's them, but anyhow. So yeah, everyone has their signs.
I have a question about the sun rising from the west, because it's not going to rise at the exact same time for everyone around the world. It's going to be rising.
Slowly,
So
yeah.
does that mean that the doors of repentance have closed as soon as it rises somewhere, or as soon as it rises for them wherever they are?
I think we're still rise somewhere because now today when news spreads around, that's going to be, and that's very kind of true. Scientifically, it's saying that the world is slowing and it's spinning around. So it's coming, as gravitational is spinning, it's coming slower and slower. That it might actually stop, and then it'll go the other way, right? And there's actually a couple of planets, I think it's Uranus, that actually spins opposite, called retro spin. All the most planets spin the same way, like Mars and Earth, but there's a couple planets that actually go the opposite way. So it said that it could happen. It's all about gravitational pull. So because of the Earth and so forth, that even like a meteor would hit one of the planets, like Jupiter, then Earth will be affected by that. They're all in balance, right? So if one goes out of balance, then everything else gets shifted. And so that's just, so that can happen. That can happen actually very fast. So anyhow. So we already went over the tall buildings one, right? It's talking about the Arabs and so forth, or those who are poor. So the Sears Tower might not fall into this because remember the Americans were already rich already, or maybe they weren't, I don't know. But well, we can definitely understand this for the Arabs at that time, right? If it was the Native Americans that were doing this, and maybe we could say that, right? But really it's not them, that's me. Then Jibril says, and the Apostle says that was Jibril, he came to teach you a religion. How did Jibril teach them their religion? Right? Because it was the Prophet answering the questions, right? It wasn't Jibril answering the questions, it was the Prophet answering them. But the Prophet says that Jibril came to teach you your religion. But it was the Prophet answering it. So what does that mean? Tough question, also. I can see like smoke coming from it. So what's understood is that you can learn from questions being asked in a sitting, right? Even though you're not answering the questions, and you're not answering them, you just hearing them, the Prophet said that Jibril came to teach you all of them were listening. So did you guys all hear what the Jibril said, right? And this shows you once again etiquettes of knowledge. That even though you're not asking the question, it's that you should be attentive and listen what the teacher's saying or listen what other students are asking, right? And not dozing off and playing with your phone and so forth like this, right? Right? So this is another thing, right? And this is proof that the Prophet has said that Islam, ihsan, or Iman, ihsan, is what's called deen, right? He said that he came to teach you your deen. I mean, these three things are the deen. Not just Islam, this is the 5 pillars, not just articles of faith. If you want to talk about we should follow the deen, we should be on the deen, right? Everyone likes to use the word deen. Deen incorporates all these things. So the Prophet defined the word deen, incorporating all these different things. Or this is the main axioms, the main principles of the deen, or universal principles of deen. Ibn Daqiq al-Eid, one of the famous scholars, he mentioned this in his commentary on this hadith. Okay. So let's go into a couple things I was going to mention. It's like my bonus section here. So let's go to the qadr one. Can you dua change your qadr? Can your dua change your qadr? before we go to that, I'll give you a bonus while you have that in your head and it's simmering. I'll give you 3 things. In terms of, we're going back to the writing of the tablets and so forth. There's 3 main writings that happen. Number 1, or 3 main recordings, if you will, or records. Number 1 is a preserved tablet we went over. Number 2 is called a life record that you get. And that is when and that's the next hadith though, I'm going to jump though. It's the next hadith when the angel comes after the embryo in the stomach of the mother or the womb of the mother. After 4 months, an angel comes and writes down, records the time of death for that embryo or that baby, if you will, that person, his sustenance, all the money he'll get in this world, his property he'll have, right, what he'll own, his deeds, good and bad. He'll make hajj, he'll pray, he'll donate, he'll fail here, or he'll do this, if you will. And whether he'll go to Jannah or Jahannam. Okay. And then there's something called a yearly record. When does a yearly record happen? Every day, is that what you said? Very good. You guys are very smart individuals. When in the year does the yearly record happen? When? If it happens once a year, when did it happen on New Year's Day? Huh? Laylatul Qadr. Right? One of the interpretations is where Allah SWT says that in Surah Al-Qadr, that this night things are what? Ordained. Things are written, if you will. So what's written and what will happen for the next year? Now hold on. Didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already know everything was written? So what do you mean everything is written for the next year? It's confusing, isn't it? So what is written for the next year? Is that this is taken from the Law al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet, and brought down. And then it's told to the angels, and they are the ones that carry it out. Because may Allah ordained angels do a certain reign, some just takes life. So the angel of death gets a work order. Oh, all these people I have to take care of? Okay. I got the new work order. Next year, he gets a new work order. The angels are reign. I know how bad that sounds. So anyhow, he needs to get his work, right? He needs to do his job. We need to know if he's doing his job or not, right?
I mean, it's raining today.
It's raining today. So he knew that angel in Laylatul Qadr, he got, oh man, April, February 26th, 12 o'clock, I'm going to go to, Corona and have to drop some rain down. Corona, I got to go to Fontana, right? So all that is brought down. Because the Law al-Mahfuz is with who? With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But that's why they said the Quran was in the Law al-Mahfuz. And Laylatul Qadr, Allah just took them, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, and brought it down to us. Right? And that's where the first verse that came down. So when it says that the Quran was revealed on Laylatul Qadr, it means that part of the Quran was revealed. Right? Some people said that the whole Quran came down, but a little piece came down after that to the lowest heaven, and then that one verse came down to the Prophet. Right? So there's multiple ways that you can understand that. I think that's a really early event. I think it's at 12:15, isn't it? Is that Asr in Malaysia or something like that? Or Indonesia? Asr the next day or something? Oh, it's 12:04, it is. Okay, you're correct. I thought it was like 12:15. Maybe that's when we were praying last week. You're good. I stand corrected. Right? And so you have this type of writing that goes on. Right? And there's also another recording that goes down. When does another recording happen? When is there another recording that takes place? Daily. Remember the angels? Katibin? Right? That happens daily. So there's a verse in the Quran. I don't have a slide for this, so you have to kind of write it down. Surah Ra'd, chapter number 13, verse number 39. Chapter 13, verse number 39. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَإِنَّهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah blots out and He confirms what He pleases. Allah wipes away. Allah erases out and confirms certain things. And with Him is a mother of books, Ummul Kitab. Right? First of all, what's Ummul Kitab? The preserved tablet. Well, that's only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can see that. Right? right? But then Allah says He blots out what He wants and He confirms what He wants. So the scholars have mentioned that in the hand are the writings that everyone does. Like this person today, he lied, he stole, right? He prayed, for example, right? So Allah also mentions in Surah Hud, chapter number 11, verse 114, right? Innal hasanati yudhibna as-sayyi'at. Good deeds wipe out or does away or nullifies bad deeds. So how can good deeds nullify bad deeds? I give you guys a bunch of hints. So could someone explain that to me?
Hadith we get to know that on the salah wipes out our bad deeds,
Okay.
and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you do a bad deed, wipe it out with the
Good deed. Right. Same thing here in this. You do a bad deed, then do a good deed to replace it. Right. The verse of the Quran from Surah Hud explains that. So what does he mean like it replaces it? That for someone stole today, one bad deed, but he goes and prays one good deed? Is that what it's meant? Or does the angels say, stole, he prayed, get the eraser out, and erase that bad deed? Siraj. I don't know why I keep on picking on you for. I'm not good. Which one? Option 1 or option 2?
2.
Option 2. Anyone go to option 1 here?
Both, depending
Both.
on the
Intention.
Okay.